behavioural genetics, what's the future there?
I think, well, as I often say, if you want to engineer your child, particularly behaviourally, send him to Eton.
You can afford it.
You can afford it. I think that's been hyped enormously, which isn't to say when it comes to behavioural mental disorder that genetics isn't important. It's very important. But when it comes to the normal range of behaviour, being a nice person, there's only one gene involved there, and that's on the Y chromosome. Men are nastier than women, and that's genetic.
Yes, that's the best predictive test for whether somebody's likely to be sent to prison in their life, is to check whether they've got a Y chromosome or not.
We are in that. I mean, we're looking at autism, for example. I mean, a lot of studies are done on autism, and how does that fit into that picture? Because there are obvious behavioural implications there as well.
We know there are genes associated with certain behavioural patterns, but still autism is a complex disease. It's like any of the other complex diseases we've been talking about, where there are probably many different causes, and who knows, there may be other environmental predisposing factors as well.
And are there social pressures, therefore, to do more research or to look into behavioural aspects of genetics, do you feel?
Well, there are moral pressures. I mean, I think the pressure is moral pressure. We want to do good and we want to avoid harm, we as people and we as scientists and we as doctors. And that is absolutely the right sort of pressure that should be felt. But one thing I think is important to think about...
But surely, sorry, can I say, some of these moral pressures are social pressures. I mean, we select what are particularly behavioural problems, don't we?
Well, there are social pressures, but I think I think people are capable of, and actually usually do choose to ask and answer the big question, and that is that will this make the world a better place or will it make the world a worse place? And I think that is always, as it were, the moral question that we have to ask.
I mean, I think the fascinating thing about these moral issues is that they're ancient. And the law has long been willing to accept that some people's biology is different from that of others, which causes them to behave in their own way. I mean, if you have murdered somebody or killed somebody because you hear a voice saying that that person is the devil, you'll be treated differently by the law than if you decided to murder them to take their money. And that goes back to the Middle Ages, that kind of observation. Now, we would just change the language. We would say that person's got schizophrenia, and we treat it differently. Soon we'll possibly be able to screen their DNA and say, oh, that person has clearly got a deletion at this point here, which we know strongly predisposes to schizophrenia. So the moral issues are ancient. It's just the technology that's changed.